Let's think about this for a moment. Every single one of us, both male and female, is the amalgamation of our ancestors, right? Our DNA is made up of their trauma, their pain, their happiness, their laughter, their pride, their joy, but a lot of their trauma, right? Some of our foreparents may have seen their children and their spouses and their family members tortured, hung from trees, beaten, died in some very, very disturbing way, right? And for the most part, we are the descendants of slaves, beaten and disgraced in the most atrocious way. Not to mention the mind games that were played on us to get us to conform, right? Submitting to masters and listening, especially when it comes to women. We never had a voice for so many years, centuries, right? We were put in a place, we were put in little boxes, we had to hold our corners. In Jamaican terms, we have a hold with corner, right? We weren't allowed to speak and things like that. That is what we come from. Now, the science has now proven that the DNA that we were created with, pure and of nothing but love and light, that has been tainted by our experiences, that has been tainted by our traumas, that has been tainted by the unhealed pain and dysfunction that the generations before us has gone through, has endured, right? So each and every one of us is walking around until you have healed, until you have done the work to fix it. You're walking around with your descendants' trauma, with the people that you come from. You're walking around with your ancestors' trauma, right? And now today we're in a society where so many people, men and women, and a lot of men these days, have no self-identity. They have no self-love. We are so brainwashed that we think self-love is selfishness. We don't know the difference. We don't know where the line is. And if somebody does not love themselves, please note, they are not able to love you. They're able to possess you. They can want to have you in their lives, but they're not able to love you, not the way you're meant to be loved. A lot of us is walking around with all of this trauma from our ancestors on our heads, and that's why we're unable to love our children. We're unable to love our partners. We have so much dysfunction built into us, but it can be changed. There's room for improvement. There's room for change. We have to make conscious decisions that I am not going to carry on this cycle. I'm going to break this cycle right here. It ends here. We have to make a conscious decision that this can no longer happen before it changes. It's not going to change under any other circumstance. Under any other circumstance, until we take a stand and take charge of our own lives, we are not going to be able to make change. We're going to keep repeating the same vicious, abusive, lack of love cycles, loveless cycles, until we take a stand and change that. We're not going to see better societies. We're not going to see flourishing societies. We're going to see 1 and 2 people making it out. But for the most part, until we learn to break these cycles, we are stuck. And this goes for men and women. I know women were placed in boxes, and men were placed as the person who allows us to come out of those boxes when they felt like we deserve to be out of those boxes. So yes, we still have that to fight with, but for the most part, the trauma, it doesn't just exist with the men, for the women alone. It exists for both of the sexes. And we need to fix that. Before we start to even address some much deeper issues, we need to fix that. That has to be fixed. Something has to change. And the change begins with us. It doesn't start outside of us. We need to stop pointing fingers. Yes, some people did enslave us. Yes, it happened. It's done. Waiting on them to make up for it is like complete nonsense. You're gonna wait in vain. And you don't need their permission. You don't need their apology to work on you, to heal you, to fix you. So I ask you to think about this. Share it with a friend or many friends. And start working on you. Let's take back our lives. Let's learn to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves just as we are. We are beautiful black people, brown-skinned people. There is nothing wrong with us. We are magnificent. We're light. We're fire. We're everything that there is. Take charge.